We all know communication skill is very important, but this has been a struggle personally for years ever since I started the business. I'm always self-conscious about my accent, even filming this video is giving me a lot of friction. But being able to speak up with my accent and slowly improve it actually allow me to make 7-figure in my business. In today's video, I'm going to be very vulnerable talking about my biggest personal struggle. So I hope you enjoy how I solve this problem, and then hopefully you can use the same method to overcome whatever fear that you have in your current communication with your team or clients.
Okay, so a lot of people may not know this about you, but one of the biggest insecurity you have is language barrier and your accent. Can you tell me a little bit more about that, why you're so anxious about it, and how did you overcome it in the last couple of years?
You know what's interesting? I still feel it. I'm still concerned about my accent sometimes, in terms of whether or not I'm explaining things clearly to other people. Because sometimes I notice that the voice that I'm hearing is a little bit different from how I would hear it from a video. Those are the stuff that I'm still constantly trying to work on and try to get better at it. Overcoming the language barrier has always been the hardest thing in my life, and it brought out a lot of confidence initially. This is for people with an ESL, right? English as your second language, or people who are having concern about your communication skill with other people, or typically you're introvert, then you're getting into sales and you want to get better at it. There's a few different, methods I use to get better. So number one, reputation actually matters. Back then when I knew that I had to really push for sales, I couldn't rely on anybody. I was literally out there talking to people. Like at the time we had the property management service, I will go around talk to people who are cutting grasses that I knew could be a landlord. I would step out, agree with them, and just have a quick conversation. And it was very, very tough because people told me to fuck up. I think my method has always been if I needed to do more repetition, I need more practice. Even if it was uncomfortable, you need to do it. You need to get comfortable with being very uncomfortable. And once you do more and more, you realize that it's all the same response, it's all the same objections, it's all the same questions, right? And then from there, you can work backwards. You can look at those questions. You can be like, okay, when they say this, I'm gonna say this, and you can write them out. So I wrote every single question. It's kind of like a FAQ, why I bother people when they're cutting along, right? And once I have that, I wrote it, and I have a good answer to get them to kind of shift their energy and carry on the conversation. And at the end, if I want to exit the conversation, I'll be like, hey, listen, sorry to bug you. Have a good day. Boom. Then I can exit myself. So the moment that I look at all of that, and you already knew exactly what's going to happen, and it's no longer uncomfortable. From there, you just get better at listening to yourself. So reflection to me was also really important. Intentionally record myself. After knowing all of this, knowing what to say, I no longer have to worry about the industry knowledge or the service knowledge that I have to provide. I can focus on the language barrier, which is what words do I say confuses people, right? And maybe when I say certain things, it just didn't sound right. So let me correct the pronunciation a bit, right? So for those who don't know about me, or who don't know enough about how I started, I had two biggest issues that I always have to overcome. Number one is the industry knowledge. The second one is the language barrier. Yeah, and which brought down the confidence a lot.
I remember you recording yourself. How did that work?
That was in 2019, I believe, when I knew that I had to really go hard on sales. Doing the cold calling or talking to a client for their property sale or negotiation without seeing each other was very concerning for me, because body language, sometimes you can change the direction or the energy. Over the call, it's all about how you articulate your words. Back then, there was no recording system building in iPhone, so I had to download the app, pay for the app, and I would do a 3-way call into the app and into the client's call. After that, I was able to review it. And back then, same thing, understand the frequently asked question, right? Once I write them out, everything, I'm kind of using this as my script to handle the objection. Once I isolate the concern for the knowledge, then I can focus on accent, and I just need to I had to get better, that's all. And to solve that, I also learned, I actually paid for a course. I don't know if you remember, but this course taught me how to use a tonality. How do I sound a little bit more confidence? Using pacing a little bit better, volume a little bit better, using my body language a little bit better. There's a few other things, or even the melody of how I speak, the filler words, right? How to remove those to reduce the uncertainty. So I was trying to tackle all these problems one at a time to get better and better. At the end of the day, I recognize that there's a problem. I recognize that I'm not talented. So I had to use different ways to minimize my exposure. I feel like this concept applies to everything else. And again, for me, I always hire people with sales skill set, right? So that I didn't have to do it. It just got to a point where I feel like if you can do sales, you can land clients. Your business is depending on other people at this moment, and in order for me to grow it, I also need to communicate with the team. Communication with the team is also a form of sales. That's my message for other people. Repetition is really important. Reflection, you have to do lots of reflection.
When you say reflection, you mean listening to your own self?
Initial reflection can be, I recognize I can do better, and you listen to other people, and then after that you can find different ways to review your own code, like do a QC, quality control of your own code, and that way repetition with the reflection is going to make it a lot better already. And number 3 is don't be afraid of investing in yourself, right? Like these type of stuff, right? Imagine if I'm closing the deal for 10, 15, 20K and I knew that there was a problem with my communication. I'm not willing to spend the money to get people to help me articulate the words a little bit better. Like how can you get people to buy from you if you don't have enough confidence, right? So investing in yourself is always one thing that I'm very big on, and I have no problem. Like even if this specific support is not the right support for me, at least will lead to the next resource for me.
Because obviously I'm the person that's been with you since you've started this journey, and I've noticed a huge improvement. It's funny because it used to be that when we would do McDonald's drive-thru, your voice would be mumbling. Nobody would understand what you're trying to order. You were scared of speaking up even to the McDonald's like speakerphone.
I don't know why. Yeah, it was crazy.
But then in recent years, you've been doing what you've been doing, what you just said. Now you're able to confidently scream into the microphone and they can understand you now.
20 pieces of chicken nuggets. No, but here's the thing though. I want to say sales is actually very addictive. Like the ability to communicate better. There's a room for improvement. And you keep looking into or reflecting on how you can say better. It's addictive in the sense that it makes you want to have small talk almost everywhere. Back then I was all mumbling. I was very much like an introvert. And I feel like learning how to communicate better turned me into a little bit more like an extrovert.
Your personality also changed with that.
I enjoy talking to people for different type of stuff. Oh, and one other thing is that I think at some point, I think 2017, 2018, I made myself a commitment that if I don't understand anything, I'm gonna ask in the conversation. So, sorry, can you clarify? What do you mean by this word? What do you mean by that? Right? In the moment that I get comfortable of asking those questions and kind of like it, back then I might thought that was embarrassing. But then once I overcome the fear in my head, I noticed that people are willing to just explain everything and teach me more things. And even right now, sometimes when I'm going through the legal documents, certain words I have no idea. I would just ask, hey, what does this actually mean? Or ask my students to teach me English sometimes.
There was also a point where what you're hearing is not what they're asking. Through listening to your own calls, you were like, oh, I definitely did not answer that question. And that probably costed you some clients too. So would you say that improving your communication style, improving your accent even, help you facilitate the business that you have?
100%. Yeah, we went from, making less than 100K in sales or, relying on the team members all the way to me doing it and sales didn't drop for whatever reason. And then we picked up and all of a sudden, like now we have like 2 business doing 7 figure. It's all because of communication. Communication with the clients, with the team, with the vendors, and how you can like get them into the right momentum. Because I'm not a very talented person. So whatever I put in place is to help me isolate the concerns so that I can keep getting better. When the team starts seeing how I do certain things, they also implement the same thing. You're going to come across with people who are just naturally very good at certain things. They won't have any system in place. They're just naturally good at filling out the conversation, say the right things, and restructure the language. And those are the stuff that I can do. I couldn't do. I can probably do it a little bit better. I had to use my own way, kind of engineer it a little bit so that I could deliver to do this a little bit better.